Welcome to my next Homebrew Wednesday. Today, I'm gonna talk about the Juice Bomb, the Backyard Juice Bomb. I'm gonna tell you how it went. I'm gonna tell you how it tastes. I'm gonna tell you whether it flopped or whether it's drinkable. Stay with me. It's really awesome you chose to stop by and spend a few minutes with me. I'm Mike and you're at NEIPA Backyard. If you like beer and barbecue, you're in the right place. Please hit the subscribe button down below. I have all kinds of videos I think you'll be interested in. If you've been following my brewing journey, I am an amateur brewer and I'm kind of self-teaching myself with this thing. My favorite beer style right now is the NEIPA or the New England style IPA. It's a very juicy, loaded with dry hops, but not exactly bitter. The beer style is just so new that you really can't find a whole lot of it in the package stores, and you can't find a whole lot of recipes on it. And the few that you can find are, they're just few and far between. So that makes it tough. And what I did is with this Backyard Juice Bomb is I looked at the beer recipes that were out there and I tried to create my own, which you senior brewers out there would tell an amateur like myself to kind of hold back on creating your own recipes until you're a little more experienced. And I can definitely appreciate the advice. It is complex. It is a very complex thing to, jump out there and create your own recipe and kind of wing it like I did. So, I knew the chances of this turning out perfect were slim to none, but I'm a trial and error kind of person. And, I wanted to try it, see how it worked out. And, from there I'll adjust course and try it again. So I'll have the link to the brewing video later in the video. But for those of you that already watched it, I'm going to point out a couple of things that I know were issues with the brewing process. It got really cold during the fermentation. I wasn't able to get the trub out. I wasn't able to dry hop it properly. The controller that I use sometimes malfunctions and won't send a signal to the device, whether it's the freezer for cooling or the heater for heating, and it just goes to error. Well, I'm always checking it, but it got so cold that overnight that little device stopped working and it allowed my temperature in my beer fridge to get down to about 54, 55 degrees. That's low for fermentation. Now I was able to get it back into the low 60s, and I think it was out of temperature for about 6 hours. So I don't know how big an impact that had on the actual fermentation. I know I was able to get the airlock rolling again within that night. And I dry hopped twice, but then it was so cold that I wasn't able to get the dry hops out. The dry hops stayed in the Fermentosaurus, my fermenter, pretty much the whole time. It was so cold in that shop, I just kind of threw my hands up and said, I hope for the best. And the trub all collected on the bottom. And so I think that is what led to what I'm about to show you. So that is the Juice Bomb. And right away, you notice the color is off. And that was my first thought was, wow, this doesn't look good. It smells good. It smelled like a fruity, it smelled like a fruity NEIPA. It smelled like I wanted it to. It had lots of hops. Just to bring you up to speed, it's about a month. It's about 4 weeks after I kegged it. And I've been tasting it the whole time. When I originally kegged it, I tasted it and it had a very, it's like an alcohol taste. And it was on the back end of the taste. So I'm not sure where that came from. Rather, that I may have used too much yeast. So I made a 2-liter yeast starter because I was using Beersmith, and Beersmith led me to believe that I didn't have enough yeast in the 1-liter yeast starter to make this recipe happen. So I made a 2-liter yeast starter. I think that was a mistake. and I think I had too much yeast, and that may have given me that alcohol, that may have given me that flavor, that off flavor. However, as the beer aged, that flavor dissolved almost all the way, but not completely. It's still there in the back end of the taste, but it's nowhere near as strong as it was when it was originally kegged. I think the color, which you can see, it's more of like a apple juice kind of color. A hazy apple juice, like an apple cider. I think that came from leaving the hops in too long. And if any of you guys have any ideas for this color issue, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. In the beginning, it was, I was concerned because of that alcohol flavor, but it was good enough that I went ahead and let it age in the keg. I slowly carbonated it in the keg for about 2 weeks, and at that 2-week level, it definitely improved a lot. And the flavor was, the juiciness was coming through, nicely. The alcohol flavor was toning down. And then what I was concerned about is a lot of times they say on these NEIPAs is that the fruitiness or the juiciness or the hoppiness will kind of, start to dissolve a little bit. So I was concerned about that, and I was watching that. And that's kind of where I'm at with this now, is to kind of see, where we are with this. We're 4 weeks after kegging, almost 6 weeks after brewing. And I can tell you, straight up, I don't come home looking to drink this beer. It's, I've brewed several beers where I do look forward to drinking it. This is not one of them. It's not that good. However, this is a tremendous learning experience for me. And I'm definitely looking forward to making another one when the weather's warmer, which it is now. So let's go ahead and taste this guy on camera. The Backyard Juice Bomb. Looks like apple cider bomb. Let me go ahead and I had a great head on it, carbonated well, maybe a little over carbonated. Not a whole lot of aromas coming off of it anymore. And I'm not sure, what I can do about that to preserve that on a home brew basis. You may just need to, drink these guys as fast as you can. I had that happen on my Backyard IPA also. The hops, they just don't preserve very well, that hop character. So if I'm looking for any suggestions there. My first thought is I use too many different varieties of hops, because you can't pin down one flavor. It's just too many. There's just too many flavors, and it's just, jumbled together. I'm not sure how to describe it, but there's almost like a banana taste as it's going down, which I know is probably an off flavor of some kind. Now, what I do want to say though is it's drinkable. It's, if it wasn't drinkable, I'd have dumped it. It's not something that I look forward to, but the more that I drink it, the more I learn from it. That's really it for the Juice Bomb. Another thing that I want to do is that Fermentosaurus I have allows me to ferment as well as transfer under pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and order the cap that goes on top that is gonna allow me to hook CO2 to it, as well as the lines to transfer under pressure. Because if I can transfer the beer without any additional oxygen getting into it, that's a great thing. That's gonna help prevent any off flavors or chances of contamination. And the other thing is it's gonna give me a jump start on getting it carbonated. Especially with these kind of IPAs, if you can get a jump start on the carbonation, then maybe you can drink it while it's in its prime time when the hops are really shining. I'm really looking for a way to kind of preserve those hop characteristics, so I'm gonna look into that. that's it for me on the Homebrew Wednesday and the Juice Bomb review. So I really appreciate your interest in it. I know a lot of guys were asking me about how the Juice Bomb turned out. My next brew video, probably in about a month or so, I'll be filming it and then I'll pop that out. There may be a Homebrew Wednesday video coming out sooner than that, discussing what the recipe is and my plans and all, and some maybe some equipment upgrades, so be looking for that too. Till then guys, cheers. I really appreciate you sticking around to watch the whole video. Check out these other videos over here. You may very well be interested in those also. The inspiration behind the videos is your feedback. And the best way to give me your feedback is to hit the like button down below. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button down below. And you can also leave comments. I can't wait to see you next time.